Hi everybody, it's Oksana, and today I'm going to show you how to make this pendant right here. It is a double-sided pendant because you can wear it right side up or you can wear it upside down. It's got two bails. There's one right here and then this other one is right there. And this is just a fun way to wrap stones that look pretty both directions. For example, this stone was actually one of the coolest stones I've ever come across because it's a labradorite that shines blue in this direction, and then in the other direction it's purple. So I wanted to be able to have this be worn either way. So that's how I came up with this design. So if you want to see how to make this double-bailed pendant, then just keep watching. So this tutorial is going to be a bit different because instead of starting completely from scratch, I'm starting with a cabochon that is wrapped with a frame, and I have quite a few videos where I use this technique of the frame, and then I bring the wires to the back and I secure the cabochon. So I will link a video below that demonstrates this technique so that this video is not super repetitive, because I'm not doing anything different here. The different part comes with the bail, making a double bail, a bail on both sides. So I used 5 wires here that are round, dead soft, 20 gauge. I think in some of my videos sometimes I use like 4 or 3. So in this case you want to use 5, and then follow the video that I will link below where you just weave around the stone, you cross these 2 wires over and you use them to attach the stone in. And so here comes the different part. So we're gonna make a bail. You want to use pretty long wires. I do have a large stone, so my wires are really long. I don't know how much they are, maybe like 24 inches long, but it depends on the size of your stone. But basically you need them to bend into this bail shape and then be able to come all the way down and still have some length left for an additional bail. So that's why you need extra long wires. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just bend these wires a little bit so they are closer together, so that it's easier for me to weave. See how I'm just kind of bending them with my pliers a little bit. And these here as well, so that I have all of my wires lined up nicely here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 2 on each edge like this, and I'm going to just kind of pull them aside so that I have these 4 central wires like this. And then I'm going to take my weaving wire. I'm using 26 gauge round dead soft copper. I'm putting it right above the bottom of the 4 wires, and you can do any weaving pattern that you would like to do, but I'm gonna do the one where, so I put it in between, I'm making kind of like a little wrap, going up, and I'm making a little wrap around the 2nd wire, up 1 more, a little wrap around that 3rd wire, and last but not least the 4th wire, just like that. And then I'm going down by 2, so down 2 wires, putting my wire underneath the 2nd wire from the top, up 1, pulling it towards me, down 2, up 1, like that. So then I'm starting over, so you go up by 1 and down by 2 basically, but you can do any pattern you want. I think I have this pattern as well as a few others. I'll try to link that video below where I just have some ideas of weaving patterns. Just going to tighten that up a little bit here. And I am going to continue with that pattern. for quite a while because I want it to go all the way down. All right, so mine's quite long, and what I'm doing is I'm bending it back this way, and it's up to you if you want to make like a pronounced bail. I'm trying to keep mine here in the back kind of more hidden because you know, when you wear this upside down, I'm just taking my pliers and I'm just bending it a little bit like this so that it's flush against the stone. So I want my bail to be like this because when you wear it upside down, if it's like a long bail, it'll look like this weird thing sticking out the bottom. So again, personal preference. I'm making mine a little smaller. So here is my weave up here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually separate these into 2 and 2 like that, and I'm going to weave on 2 of them. Then I'm going to cut my wire and I'm going to weave on the next 2, and it's totally up to you what pattern you weave, but I'm going to do the one where it's 1, 2, 3, 4 around the bottom and then 2 around both. So I'm gonna do that pattern on these 2 wires and then these 2 wires. So when you do them on the other one, you want it to mirror. So here, this is the bottom wire and then around both. So when you do it here, this will be the bottom wire. So it kind of mirrors this pattern. So I'm gonna do that on both of these and then I'll be right back. All right, so I did do this side already, but I will demonstrate for you on this side what to do, and it'll be exactly the same thing. So this will depend on the size of your stone and how far down you want this little decorative piece to go. But for me personally, I did 10 of this little pattern, repeats of this pattern, 4 around the bottom, 2 around both. So then after doing that, I cut my wire quite long because I am going to continue to weave, but I'm going to need my wire to like put it through things, so I had to cut it. So I'm bending this a little bit. So I'm bending this forward and then I am turning it this way. So since I already did my other side, now I have to kind of match this side. Okay, so now this is going towards the back. And then here on the back, here's a top view. So you can see, so here, once it's lying down, so to speak, and you can use your pliers if you need to kind of flatten it a little bit. What I'm doing is I am putting it through, let me zoom in here. Do you see that? Through this weave that's going around the stone just to connect this. So I'm doing that once. And I'm going to do that again. So I would probably do this at least twice, maybe more if you can. I'm going to do it one more time. So mine's going to be a total of 3 times. Okay. Now I'm going to go around both of my wires because that was my pattern. 4 around the bottom and 2 around both. And now, actually, let me have this wire up here. I'm going to weave just around this wire here for a while, because here's the thing I'm going to be doing. So if you take this wire and you kind of bend it in, and then you cut it, you can make a little curl with your round nose pliers, like that. And then this wire is going to go in here, and it's going to go around this way, and then it's going to go through in here, like underneath this, that way. So you want to weave until it gets to there, or just wrap around it, coil around it until it is long enough, because we're going to be doing this. See how it's going all the way and then through under here? So that's what I'm going to do on this side. And it's okay if it's a little longer than you need. That's totally fine, because we actually would be continuing to weave on it after we put it through anyways. So to put it through, you can lift this up just a little bit, just push this up. You put the weaving wire through first, and now we're going to work this wire through here. Once you got it coming out the side, you can go ahead and grab that. Make sure your weaving wire doesn't get wrapped around anything, like mine seems to have done here. So once you get it through, you want to just push that down. Like that. Make sure it matches here from the front. Okay, so once you've done that, you can weave around this little wire here. What you're going to do is you're going to bend it and then secure it to right here. See my little weaving wire coming out there? So we're going to secure that. I'm probably going to do like 3 wraps to secure it. So 2 and 1 more. There we go. And now just wrap single coils around the wire some more. And here's where I'm just going to take a peek at this side, because I do want my sides to match. So it looks like the wire on the other side is just a little bit shorter. Actually, no, I think it's about the same. So I'm going to pinch that little end down, and then I'm going to take the end here. I'm going to make a little curl, and I'm just going to tuck and like lay that curl in there, like that, flat. So there we go. That sort of matches the other side now. And you can kind of work on adjusting these. Like this one seems a little shorter and that one's taller, so you can kind of make sure that they're matching, and this side is a little higher. Alright, so this part is done, this bail. So now, getting back to our other bail, the other side, here's what I'm going to do. So I have 2 wires here. Make sure that they're not getting crossed, because see how one is this one and one is the one next to it. It's easy to get them kind of mixed up. So make sure that they're not getting crossed over. And we are going to weave on them as well. And the pattern that I'm going to weave on them is actually going to be the same exact one. It's going to be the 4 and then 2. So the 4 single wraps around the bottom wire, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 2 around both. So I'm going to weave that pattern so you can kind of see that there. So I'm going to weave that pattern on them for a while. I'll come back and I'll tell you how many repetitions it ended up being, but of course it depends on the size of your stone. Alright, so I did do this side, but I will show you what to do on this side, because it's going to be exactly the same thing. So I ended up doing 26 repetitions of this design. So here are our 2 wires coming up here. The way I have this is that they're kind of going straight up. So the outermost wire is right here, and then the other one's next to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make a little loop with these. So I'm trying to have these wires kind of flat this way. As I curl them into this loop shape. The wires kind of want to twist on you, so you just got to keep using your pliers to keep them flat. So what I'm doing here is I'm crossing these wires in the front, the one coming out of this side and the one from the other side. And let me get this just a little flatter. So I'm crossing them over each other, and I'm going to the back like this. And it's up to you whether you just pull it back right away or you make it kind of go down a little further. Just whatever you do, do it equal on both sides. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to see that it's equal here. So once it is equal, go ahead and bend these back like that. All right, so here in the back, I've got these 2 sets of wires here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do them like this, so they're almost like alternating. Just because if I put one set of them on top and the other on the bottom, it might make one of these higher and the other one lower, and I want them to be the same. I want them to look the same from the front especially. So once you have that, all that's left to do is just to connect them. So I'm going to take one of them and I'm going to put it underneath this big piece here. That's from my other bale, and I'm holding with my thumb so I don't pull it too much and it doesn't like pull this other thing out of shape. And then I'm doing the same thing with this other one. Okay. Now I'm going to cross them over one more time. This time I'm going to cut them. And actually, sorry, I just thought of something. Uncross. I'm going to connect it to this piece here. So I'm just taking my pliers and I'm curving it around. Can you see that little loop there? And then I'm closing up that loop with my pliers. And I'm going to do that on the other side too. Alright, so that's connected on both sides now. And we have these wires here, which we can put through the bale up top. So these things right here, I mean, they're pretty much locked into place, but theoretically, you could kind of slide them around a tiny bit if you push on them. So what I'm going to do to lock them even further in place is I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to put it under. See, I have this other wire kind of coming in here because that's when I secured my cabochon. But, you know, yours might be slightly different. You could have secured your cabochon slightly differently. So just find some wire to kind of attach it to. See what I'm doing there? I'm just connecting the two together. And same thing here. This one's a little trickier because the wires here are a little different. And we're done. So here's one direction, and here's the other. And here's the back. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching.